Onward is the newest film released by Disney's Pixar. The movie follows Ian and Barley Lightfoot as they try to bring their dad back to life for a day. But while Onward is the latest to enter the Pixar roster, it's actually the start of the entire Pixar universe. That's right, Onward definitely fits into that insane Pixar theory, proving that overanalyzing movies can really pay off. In fact, it's the first Pixar film to take place on an entirely different planet. This means that Onward gets to do things that no other Pixar movie has done, and it also means that the Pixar universe might be expanding to even more planets in the future. So grab your trusty steed and settle in as we take you on a quest to find out how Onward fits into the Pixar timeline.
There's no top part! Dad, you are in your house!
The Pixar theory can seem a little far-fetched at first. With all of the characters that have appeared in Pixar films, like talking toys, monsters, and cars, it's easy to believe that the films aren't really connected at all. But don't put it past Pixar to sneak a lot of clues into their films to show us that these movies are all taking place in the same universe. However, that doesn't mean that they have to take place during the same time period, or even on the same planet. This is where Onward comes in. Ian and Barley are residents of a new Mushroomton. In their time period, magic isn't used anymore. It's practically gone extinct. But, way back, magic was a major thing and everyone used it, before technological advancements brought forward inventions like the light bulb and washing machines. Since the Onward civilization seems to be going the same way as the human one, you might think at first that it's just a fantastical remake of typical human society. But think again. If you look into the sky during the film, you see that there are 2 moons orbiting the planet, so it's not really Earth at all. But wouldn't that blow a huge hole into the Pixar theory? Well, it actually makes the theory much more believable, and we're about to tell you why. Let's do a quick recap of the Pixar theory to see exactly where Onward fits in this complicated timeline. For a more detailed breakdown of Pixar theory, you can go ahead and check out this short documentary. Long ago, Earth was inhabited by dinosaurs and a few cavemen. The good dinosaur is the start of the Pixar theory. Well, the start of the theory on Earth, that is. Once dinosaurs went extinct, magic inhabited the planet. So, that's where Merida went on her magical journey in Brave. Once that type of magic started to fade away, a new type of power became known on Earth. In the 1960s, we get to see a superhero family in The Incredibles. Sentient creatures become a typical part of Earth after this. First, there are the living toys in the Toy Story films. Then, sentient animals in Finding Nemo and Ratatouille. While this is going on, we have some normal human events, like Inside Out. But even animals continue becoming even more intelligent and up. And technology is also super advanced, allowing the dogs to talk with specifically developed collars, and marking the beginning of the end for humans. But of course, tech isn't always a good thing. The world had advanced so much that humans couldn't live on the planet anymore. So what was left? Well, sentient cars, of course. That's why we never see a human in the Cars films. Thankfully, humans weren't completely out of the picture, they just weren't on Earth anymore. Eventually the cars fade away too, and we get the empty and desolate planet that appears in WALL-E. The humans are busy orbiting the planet in their spaceship society, but at the end of WALL-E they return to a slowly blossoming Earth. While Earth develops, we get intelligent insect societies, like the one in A Bug's Life, since bugs would have been some of the first creatures to start repopulating the Earth. But with humans back on Earth, things started to go wrong again. Eventually they were wiped out, and what replaced them were monsters, likely caused by radiation, and thus developing Earth's remaining creatures into much weirder creatures. So, then, how did the monsters in Monsters, Inc. scare humans? The best bet is that those doors didn't just lead to kids' rooms. They led to an entirely different timeline. Do you remember Bing Bong from Inside Out? Well, Riley's imaginary friend might have actually been a monster. This also means that Boo can time travel, since she talks through the doors in Monsters, Inc. If that's true, then the reason we see carvings of Sully and Brave is because the witch is actually Boo from the future. Her carvings also feature the Pizza Planet truck, which is something that never would have existed in the Middle Ages. Do you think Boo can time travel? Drop your thoughts in the comments. This is where Onward fits in. While all of this is going on Earth, there was a lot of development happening on an entirely different planet. Back in the days where magic ran wild and technology was scarce, the magical creatures on this planet were functioning kind of like cavemen. They just had magic to speed up their development a bit. The flashbacks in Onward likely take place around the same time as the events of The Good Dinosaur, which is referenced in the film by the movie specifying that those olden days took place long ago. But like dinosaurs going extinct, the magic in Onward eventually went extinct too. This makes sense if you look at how some of the creatures have developed. Dragons like Blazy kind of look like dinosaurs, and a lot of other magical creatures could be easily described as evolved dinosaurs. So, unlike Earth, these creatures didn't really go extinct, they just changed. As society advanced and things like electricity were discovered, the creatures in Onward pretty much gave up magic. There are a few hints that suggest this magic-free time was taking place at the same time that Merida was discovering the Will-o'-the-Wisps in Brave. In Ian's bedroom, he's marked his birthday on a calendar that features an image that looks an awful like the forest in Brave. Plus, on the map that the brother uses, there's a forest called the Brave Wilderness. These aren't big enough clues that they suggest Merida is actually part of their world, but they're just specific enough that they tell us that the Brave timeline has something to do with Onward. Magic existing at the same time on both planets actually makes a lot of sense. The Pixar theory is about a universe, not a planet. Magic could be permeating the entire universe at the same time, and it's likely that since the two planets have similar technological advancements, that the two societies aren't so different, despite having very different populations. The society in Onward just progressed a lot faster because of how common magic was. It would have made everything easier, like discovering fire, building houses, and developing intelligence. Once advancement started, it would have been difficult to slow down. Another fun little Easter egg connecting Onward to other Pixar films is the inclusion of Triple Dent gum. We see it in the gas station and in Ian's room. This brand appears in both Toy Story and Inside Out. So how do the people in Onward have that brand too? Well, if time travel is the thing, then instant transportation to different planets might not be so hard. Humans could have visited the planet via space travel. Since Onward looks like it took place at the same time as Brave, then maybe humans got some of their ideas from visiting the planet. The planet featured in Onward could have been a kind of inspiration for Earth. It's also possible that the monsters in Monsters, Inc. are descendants from the creatures in Onward. You can't help but notice how similar some of the magical creatures look to the monsters. Maybe the magical creatures eventually fled Earth and evolved into these monsters, who were unable to use magic, so they instead invented time travel and took it upon themselves to scare kids to keep their society going. They could have also traveled to Earth at one point to see what technology and society looked like, and then they could have taken these ideas back to their home planet and used them to develop their own civilization. Sure, it all sounds super crazy, but it's Pixar. There's no shortage of creativity. So, will we ever get to see more of the planet featured in Onward? It's very possible that this part of the Pixar universe could be developed into its own series of films. Even if they don't feature the Lightfoots, there are a lot of aspects of the planet and its creatures that could be explored. One clue about the planet's future lies in just how much technology has developed. It looks like modern-day Earth, but with rampant capitalism and people forgetting their magical roots. It seems like the society might be heading the same way humans did in WALL-E. If they're not careful, they could ruin their entire planet. Maybe if they take to space, they'll meet the humans out there and we'll get an epic crossover. Hey, anything can happen. But this also leaves room for other planets to be explored in the Pixar universe. Maybe we could get a movie about an entirely alien society. We've already got some space travel from WALL-E, and now a whole nother planet in Onward. So why not introduce more aliens to the universe? I don't know about you, but I'm totally on board. Even if the Pixar theory is too good to be true, we can look at the overall theme of the Pixar movies to really understand what the film's creators are trying to tell us, with all these unique stories. The very first message is to stay true to who you are. In films like The Incredibles and Brave, we see that appreciating your own individuality, even if it's weird or different from everyone else, is essential. That's what makes you stand out, and standing out isn't always a bad thing. The second message is that we too easily take things for granted. In Toy Story and Finding Nemo, we mistreat the things we love and need, like toys and animals, and because of that, we see them suffer because of us. This message gets more extreme with films like WALL-E and Cars. If we continue taking the planet for granted, we might end up not being here at all. Onward echoes these same messages, so in that way, it's definitely a part of the overall Pixar universe. The magical creatures in Onward learn to appreciate their history, their families, and their magical abilities. They also learn how important their planet is because it gives them incredible gifts like the Phoenix Gems, the magical staffs, and the ability to have insane crazy adventures on perilous paths. And of course, the third message is to appreciate family, and by extension, friends that have become family. All of the Pixar films feature emotional moments of loss and acceptance. Onward is up there with one of the most emotional Pixar films of all. These magical creatures know how to be human, and that makes Onward all the more powerful because, hey, even if you look different from everyone else, you probably feel all the same things.
I forgot to tell him about the cars!
The what?
Your boys are in grave danger!
So do you think Onward takes place at the same time as Brave? Would you like to see more Onward movies from Pixar? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to ScreenRant for more. Thanks for watching. See you next time.